So in this video, I'm going to explain Diluc's full story in manga, and we'll also see what was Diluc's past, what actually happened, why he is one of the most coolest character in Genshin Impact. We'll find that out in this video. But before starting off this video, I want you guys to like this video and subscribe this channel if you haven't. And yeah, now let's start. So Diluc's Ragwander, he's Mondstadt's broody rich playboy, or you can say secret vigilante protector. Any of these will be fine. So he has a really dark past 3 years before the game story, and during that time he abandoned his Spyro vision because he was so disgusted by its inability to protect those he held dear. He abandoned it and he wielded a dark artifact known as Delusion. Like visions, these powerful artifacts bestow supernatural powers on their hosts by their mysterious and artificial means. But why did Diluc forsake his vision in a favor of a risky, probably evil relic like Delusion? And how did he come to possess it in the first place? Well, let's find out. Number 1, a father's sacrifice and a son's inheritance. So we all know that Kratos died defending his sons Diluc and Kaya, and if you don't know, let me tell you, Diluc is biological and Kaya is adoptive. So yeah, they are brothers but not by blood. So his father died by a monstrosity known as Ursa the Drake. He did this using a delusion which he obtained via unknown means and intended to pass it on to Diluc on his 18th birthday. Unfortunately, the power of the delusion backfired onto Kratos. According to one account, the delusion killed him outright. But according to Kaya, Diluc used his Pyro vision to put him out of his misery. The manga ultimately leaves this ambiguous as his body is seen disintegrating in Diluc's arms. Back then, Diluc was a diligent and promising member of the Knight of Favonius. Alongside Kaya, he was also less guarded with the altruistic and fundamentally kind personality. That changed when Inspector Erok, a member of the Knight, eventually revealed to be a traitor, deliberately sabotaged the investigation into Creeper's death. So infuriated at his own inability to protect his father and the Knight's seems incompetence, Diluc left his Pyro vision behind and took a delusion that killed his father and traveled Tevat seeking answers. Now the second thing begins, which is called a journey of discovery and vengeance. Creeper's delusion was shaped like a gauntlet which had the adamantly awesome ability to spawn black metal chains that can restrain, grapple and fight against opponents several magnitudes larger than the user. During his travels, Diluc interrogated the Fatui using the delusion's powers, demanding to know the secrets of delusion and how his father got his hands on one. It was unknown just how fruitful his research was, but eventually he returned to Mondstadt. Following the death of the two Fatui diplomats in an event known as the Blackfire Incident, Diluc poses as the culprit, presenting his delusion as the source of the conflagration. This was a ruse to get closer to Barnabas, a manga-only character who was conducting vile experiments on Collei. So to prevent him from kidnapping Collei again and gathering more test subjects from Mondstadt, Diluc teams up with Amber to take out the Mad Seer. Now the next phase, rejecting the delusion. After defeating Barnabas, the Fatui take Diluc into custody, but he escapes, leaving his original Dark Knight hero mask and Kratos delusion behind. Kaya returns Diluc's vision that he has wielded it instead ever since. It is also worth noting that the Knight of Favonius conducted research on Creeper's delusion in the manga, but the document reporting on it was burned, destroying crucial information. It doesn't take a great leap of imagination to assume Diluc was responsible, seeing how he is well acquainted with the potential perils and misuse of the artifact. And now I'm going to explain some things that you might have missed in the story, but they are explained in detail in manga. So it is well known in the community that Diluc became the way he is after losing his father some years before the Covenant game, but the game didn't further expound upon this, making Diluc seem like a dramatic, angsty teenager. In the manga, we can see the manner his father died. Diluc's dad was slain with impunity by Drake named Ursa. Diluc was merely a Knight of Favonius during the time and felt powerless and couldn't help his father in the fair fight, while his father managed to draft away Ursa in cost of his life. And speaking of Ursa the Drake, he is one of the Mondstadt's most persistent problems and has existed for far too long. Apparently nobody could deal with Ursa. Even the fabled Vanessa could only make the Drake retreat, with Venti's help nonetheless. So it stands with reason that the Knight of Favonius couldn't deal with Ursa. This is also one of the reasons of Diluc's resentment towards the Knight. In fact, the only person who slew Ursa was a Fatui harbinger named Dottore, and he was just passing by. And one more thing is that Diluc uses a chain instead of a claymore. One might wonder in Genshin Impact how Diluc hides the fact that he's a Dark Knight hero. After all, there's only one Claymore user in Mondstadt who can spew flames. Diluc in his Dark Knight hero mode prefers to use a chain-like weapon. This was what he employed against Group in the party. In addition to the chain weapon, Diluc also has some throwing knives or shuriken and can kill. That's quite a far cry from Claymore wielding fire dancing in the game, and it could prove Diluc's wide combat range. But yeah guys, there you have it. This is all things that happened in manga in Diluc's storyline. Remember, this was just a summary, so if you want to read the manga yourself, you can go to the site. And yeah, now thanks for watching.